Good evening. My name is David Platts, and I'm the Executive Director of the South Carolina Arts Commission, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to an unusual but appropriately creative and innovative South Carolina Arts Awards experience. The presentation of this year's Governor's Awards for the Arts and the Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Awards. As with most things in 2020, we have adapted this ceremony with respect to the reality of the times, but this special evening, this wonderful ceremony is not about that. The arts are a force for bringing people together, and despite all the challenges this evening, we are together wherever. And we are here to recognize and honor some remarkable women, men, groups, and organizations who represent the best of the arts and culture in South Carolina. Our circumstances do not change their excellence, their contributions. If anything, in a time when there is so much separation and isolation, the unifying contribution of the arts and the artist become all the more important for us to acknowledge and celebrate. With me this evening, serving as our hostess for this virtual ceremony, is a face familiar to all South Carolinians and a great supporter and advocate for the arts, South Carolina's First Lady, Peggy McMaster. Ms. McMaster, thank you for your gracious hospitality and for having us here this evening. Viewers, you will notice that we are maintaining a proper social distance. So hello over there. We so appreciate the opportunity to be here in this beautiful setting.
On Henry's and my behalf, it is my pleasure to have you and all our viewers joining us here at the South Carolina Governor's Mansion in celebration of arts and culture in the Palmetto State. Tonight, we will recognize and honor the achievements of 11 amazing recipients, all of whom have shown themselves to be exceptional parts of our state's cultural lives. South Carolina has a wonderful record of supporting the arts and artists, and we recognize the important role the arts play in our lives and communities. David, these folks already have had to wait so long. What do you say we get started?
That's a great idea. From the beginning, our plan for this ceremony was to use South Carolina filmmakers to briefly document our 2020 awards recipients. COVID-19 posed some challenges, but our 5 filmmakers and 11 recipients did what artists always do. They got creative, and they made it work. This evening, you will see the short films they produced, along with some special introductions that will include personal surprises for our recipients. The Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Awards are presented in partnership with the McKissick Museum at the University of South Carolina. Joining us to recognize the 2020 recipients is Museum Executive Director Jane Prisby.
The traditional arts embody forms of creativity that are rooted in a people's culture and history. One generation of artists passes them down to the next. McKissick Museum at the University of South Carolina and the South Carolina Arts Commission are partners in preserving and nurturing these art forms. The Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Awards are one way we do that. They are the state's highest award for practitioners and advocates of traditional arts. Today, we recognize these South Carolinians dedicated to preserving and presenting our state's long-standing and unique artistic and cultural traditions. Kristen Scott Benson, a bluegrass banjo player from Boiling Springs, grew up in the upstate, where bluegrass remains part of the local culture. She started on the mandolin at age 5 years old, and by age 10 was drawn to the banjo. Benson has played with the Grand Ole Opry more than 100 times. She has been recognized as the International Bluegrass Music Association's Banjo Player of the Year 4 times, and she has played with the Grammy-nominated bluegrass band, the Grascals, since 2008.
Julie Moore, adjunct for world music at Furman University and program director for Pacolet Junior Appalachian Musicians at the Tryon Fine Arts Center. I'm also the proud mother of one of Kristen's students. On all 3 levels, I'm so happy for Kristen to be receiving this honor. She's one of the most talented and devoted and also most humble musicians that I know. With no ego, she approaches the region's traditional bluegrass banjo repertoire scientifically, dissecting every element so the precise history of the 3-finger banjo is documented. With this heritage, she's able to create her own incredible sound. But more profound than her talent in the instrument is her gift as a teacher. It is such a pleasure to watch her teach. It's one thing to be an immensely talented performer. It's an entirely different skill set that allows one to teach with intention, compassion, to transmit difficult technical concepts while also developing a student's musicianship. In addition, she truly cares about her students and her fans, and she goes out of her way to look out for them and provide opportunities for her students to excel and succeed. I don't believe there's another banjo player who could so skillfully articulate the way Earl Scruggs developed his songs, or another teacher who is such a gift to the bluegrass banjo world. Congratulations, Kristen. You really deserve this Lifetime Achievement Award from the South Carolina Arts Commission.
Ready? Here we go. Even now, I still have those days where I'm like, am I really a professional musician? Like, is this what I need to be doing? You know, you question it always. But the one thing I've never questioned is the banjo. It asks for nothing, but it gives as much as you want to take. It's so punctuated, it's percussive, and it subdivides the beats. It's really a fascinating instrument. Like, I'm still just amazed by it. Banjos have about 75 parts. The most distinct characteristic is the head. It looks just like a drum, right? The material that I'm drawn to is certainly a little more gentle than your typical bluegrass. But with that being said, there are definitely multiple sides, and when a bluegrass band is gelling and we're all together and it feels good, you have synergy, that's originally what attracted me to it. Now this is cool. The Grascals played for Bluegrass Spartanburg here in the upstate. I joined the Grascals in 2008. They were doing very well, so I immediately got to do some really cool things. But the higher profile stuff is still not what is most memorable to me. It's always if I get to interact with one of my banjo heroes. Those are the times that I just kind of pinch myself. I'm in this insulated world of bluegrass and banjo, and this is honoring traditional arts of all kinds. I do believe that the banjo is a special instrument worthy of preservation, and so to be a part of that is extra nice.
Congratulations to Kristen Scott Benson, recipient in the Artist category. Seneca's David Galloway's musical roots are in the shape note, traditional, and gospel music traditions. As teenagers, he and his brothers sang gospel at revivals and church services throughout the upstate. At King's Chapel AME Church in Pendleton, Galloway has served as an inspiration for the junior choir, young adult choir, senior choir, gospel choir, and the male chorus. Galloway sings with the KCs, who grace local churches, revivals, AME conventions, and other gospel programs with their music. He remains active in the King's Chapel AME Church choirs and as a soloist.
Congratulations, Daddy, on being the recipient of the 2020 Jane Laney Harris Folk Heritage Award for Gospel Singing. We wanted to do this as a family and to thank everyone that supported your nomination and made submissions on your behalf to acknowledge your contribution to how you influence them in gospel music and in life in general. You are a true man of God, and the way you allow the Spirit to influence your actions and interactions with others is unconditional and unmatched. I found a quote that was perfect for you. It says, "A father is neither an anchor to hold us back, nor a sail to take us there, but a guiding light whose love shows us the way." In your life, you have been that guiding light to so many people, which is one of the reasons you have been nominated and have received this award, for which we are so proud of you. We love you.
I love putting my songs in place of talking. Hold on a little while longer. Say, hold on a little while longer. Say, hold on a little while longer. After a while, everything is going to be all right. I try to sing from my heart, and it lives in me. I mean, that's where it's where it just boils up in me when I can get to where I'm having some good old-fashioned singing. That's what I like. Hallelujah, when we meet the blessed Savior yonder in the sky.
David Galloway, a recipient in the artist category. Congratulations, David. For over 27 years, the Voices of El Shaddai Choir have come together from Hilton Head Island and Bluffton area churches for low country gospel music. Transcending geographic and musical boundaries, their music stems from oral traditions within the low country African American religious experience. Their repetition, a call and response pattern, and strong vocals originated in the 19th century with melodic connections to West Africa. Today, they sing traditional spirituals and contemporary gospel and pass down knowledge of Gullah Geechee musical traditions through generations of family and community members.
Hello, I'm Linda Bloom. As the Senior Director of Development for the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina, I have known and worked with the Voices of El Shaddai for almost 7 years. My primary experience with this wonderful musical group is as annual performers at our Taste of Gullah Festival. With Gail on the keyboards, their beautiful African clothing, rhythmic movements, and hand clapping inspires everyone and truly gets folks off of their feet. From festivals to community fundraisers, workshops in various churches and synagogues throughout the region, their unique music and spirit, as well as their willingness to give back to the community, is well known. Thank you for your contributions for almost 25 years of the highest quality low country gospel music to the cultural life of the Hilton Head Island community, the low country, and throughout the region, and for touching thousands of youth and adults at the Taste of Gullah Festival. We can all use your musical spirit now more than ever. Congratulations on receiving the Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Award.
Music is universal, and it does calm the savage beast, and it does bring people together. Yes, almighty, all-sufficient, the God who's more than enough, El Shaddai. We collectively kind of meshed the two choirs, and it used to be El Shaddai. And then as we progressed over the years, we renamed, as we'll say, to the Voices of El Shaddai, because we are the voices of God Almighty, which is El Shaddai. The love of singing is to spread the good news, to spread the what you would think about uplifting, something that's just joyful. It's the spirit in which people connect, and it's for the love of God and for the love of singing music. Music spreads wide, and it's been in my family throughout my life. Starting with my mom and my dad. I lost my mom last year to breast cancer, and she was my inspiration. Everyone that joins the choir is because they want to, and it's because they love to sing. We've been together a long time.
Such a proud tradition. We are delighted to honor Voices of El Shaddai in the artist category. Quilter Judy Twitty has been immersed in patchwork quilting since spending time with her grandmother as a girl in New Brunswick, Canada. Later, in South Carolina, she took a patchwork quilting class in 1972 and was soon teaching classes and workshops throughout the state. She helped found the statewide guild, Quilters of South Carolina. Twitty inspired a revival of the 19th century Victorian crazy quilt technique, and her innovation led to creating embroidered, eco-dyed fabric books. This Gilbert resident's work has garnered awards at local, state, and national quilt shows.
I cannot imagine what my creative life would have been like if I had not met Judy Twitty over 20 years ago and been influenced by her self-taught artistic abilities. Judy has never hesitated to be a mentor for those who ask for her guidance, and those who take classes from her learn from her vast knowledge. She's always evolving her skills to create innovative and unique treasures, whether it be an original quilt pattern a crazy quilt, or fabric books that she makes from her own hand-dyed papers and fabrics. She willingly and graciously shares her knowledge, and more important, she shares that you can do it attitude, which really boosts one's self-confidence. I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I had not met Judy Twitty. I'm so grateful for her time and for her talents and her lifetime commitment of sharing her love to the quilting community of this state. Congratulations, Judy, for being selected as a Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Award recipient for 2020. You're just simply the best.
Hello, I am Judy Twitty, and I live in Gilbert, South Carolina. My grandmother used to quilt. She was a feisty little lady with always had a twinkle in her eye. She didn't teach me how to quilt, but she planted a seed. The first one I made, I made it because I was laying bricks and I didn't have a pattern. So I used a cardboard that was shaped like a brick and made the quilt. I went to the YWCA for the first class I ever took. I used to quilt every day. I've made a lot of quilts over the years. Always interested in patterns. I walk every day and I see things. I think to myself, that could go in a quilt. My work has evolved. Now, I've kind of combined fabric and paper. I made a fabric book. After I made that book, I became interested in bookmaking. I experiment with eco dyeing, taking plant material and cooking it with your paper. I guess it was just the love of quilting that kept me going all these years. I hope it inspires somebody that looks at it to maybe decide they might like to try it and make a quilt of their own. Age has nothing to do with it, really. Doing work that other people appreciate. I get joy out of that because they'll read a little saying that I put on it and they'll smile. So I said, well, that's good, When I look back now, it's a lifelong journey, almost. I was quite young when I started, and I don't know of anything I've found more joy in.
Our final artist category recipient, Judy Twitty. Congratulations, Judy. Vinnie Deesmore, a folklorist and cultural preservationist in Georgetown, was born and raised in the Low Country. Her work focuses on Low Country people, places, work, traditions, and foodways, with an enduring specialty in the heritage of coastal fishermen. Her research, writing, documentary photography, and public lectures have yielded a body of impactful and powerful stories. These works are vehicles for education and cultural preservation. Deesmore is currently a cultural historian and curator at the Rice Museum in Georgetown.
Folklorist, oral historian, documentary photographer, author, public lecturer, Red Cross responder. Vinnie Deesmore encompasses all these titles and much more. Inspired by her mother, Eugenia Dees, a 2005 Folk Heritage Award recipient, Vinnie is the hardest working researcher I know. She always does the hard work, unassuming, humble, but strictly dedicated. Vinnie's work to capture and preserve South Carolina's rapidly changing cultural landscape is not simply a passion, but a devotion. I admire her tenacity and thankful she is being recognized with this well-deserved high honor. Vinnie Deesmore is a treasure to the state of South Carolina. I am proud to call Vinnie my mentor, motivator, and true friend.
Many plantations, the African American presence is left out, and they wanted to bring it back. They want people to know African Americans were slaves on this plantation, and want them to know more personal things about them. It's the names of the enslaved people. So if you see the number, that means that's the value of that slave. And I felt that this is something that most people haven't done. They haven't gone back to the ordinary man. This is their opportunity to give their story through their voices. I would like to see this map filled out, this total picture of what was here, where people lived, what were they doing. I'm still trying to look at the overall, how these people moved from slavery to post-slavery.
Congratulations to Vinnie Deesmore, this year's recipient in the advocacy category, and all our traditional arts practitioners. I will now turn the awards ceremony back over to David Platts and First Lady Peggy McMaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 recipients of the Jean Laney Harris Folk Heritage Awards.
Congratulations to each of the recipients, and thank you for all you do to make South Carolina so culturally rich and unique.
Now, join us outside on the mansion grounds as we meet this year's recipients of the Governor's Arts Awards. Since 1972, the Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Governor's Awards for the Arts have honored the critical roles that individuals, organizations, businesses, and public agencies play in bringing the arts to life for our citizens. Today, we are pleased to present 6 awards recognizing outstanding achievement in and contributions to the arts in South Carolina. The recipients' innovation, creativity, leadership, and steadfast support of the Palmetto State's arts community have immeasurably benefited our citizens and enriched our quality of life. Glynis Redmond's love of words and her indomitable passion of spirit have taken her from Malden, South Carolina, to performances across the country and around the world. From the White House and the Library of Congress to London, England. Poet in residence at the Peace Center in Greenville and a New Jersey theater, she is also a teaching artist for the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. She founded the Greenville, South Carolina Poetry Slam, co-founded a youth poetry slam in North Carolina, and her work for the Peace Center led her to found Peace Voices, a program dedicated to poetic outreach and community engagement.
I am Maya Amber Shera, and I am Glynis Redmond's daughter. My mother is receiving the Governor Arts Award, and I just wanted to take this time to tell her, you're amazing. I know how much you have done. I know how much you are doing. And we all know how much you're going to do. You have the support of everyone you love. You deserve every award. And every day is Mother's Day in my eyes and in my heart. I love you. My spirit is your spirit. You operate under grace, and we all see that. That's why I was named Maya, after Maya Angelou. Peace.
It's interesting when you're 4 or 5 years old, no one tells you that reading is a precursor to writing. And I was a voracious reader. I wouldn't have deemed myself a poet at that time, but all of that was part of my foundation and part of my bedrock. All of these books, all of these songs, and all of this family time, all of this folk language made me have this sit up and take note of language. I think I'm always writing from where I am now. I am who I am because of everything in the past. I'm influenced by the women in my family who were all these make-do women. Poetry is one of those things that allows me to deal with whatever life throws at me. And so I don't use it as a way out of life, but a way in to life. It gives me more cause to dig deeper and to write deeper and to get calmer. The word I like to use is driven. I'm driven. I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. You can write what's important to you. You can tell your truth, and somebody wants to hear it. Phenomenal woman, phenomenally. She sings until she believes. That's me. That's me.
It's our privilege to recognize and honor this year's recipient of the Verner Award in the Artist category, Glennis Redmond. South Carolina expatriate Mary Inhabitant Mack thrived on the New York art scene while working there as a healthcare professional. In 1977, she brought her love of the arts back home to St. Helena Island to, in her words, her Gullah folk and the sweet, salty air of the Lowcountry. Her art retail business became Red Piano 2 Art Gallery, and for years served as a leading folk art gallery and a career catalyst for many artists. Also active with the Penn Center, she became its first female board chair and belongs to its prestigious 1862 Circle, which recognizes leaders who serve as national advocates for the enduring history and culture of the Sea Islands.
It is with a grateful heart that I share this message for Mary Inhabitant Mack, a creative force of nature. Miss Mack, you are a true lover and advocate in the South Carolina arts world and beyond. You've mentored and launched the careers of hundreds of artists, meeting each of us at our individual level of creativity. I remember being a timid artist venturing into your gallery, the Red Piano 2 Art Gallery on St. Helena Island. This is where I found our beautiful Gullah Geechee culture represented in so many unique ways, which empowered me beyond measure. Miss Mack, you continue to give us hope and inspire us all. You are truly deserving of the honor of being an Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Awards recipient. Thank you.
Sam Doyle was a famous African-American folk artist from St. Helena Island, South Carolina. I sat next to his son in the 7th grade, and it was the first time I saw one of his paintings, and I was just amazed. He was actually chronicling the Gullah lifestyle. Art is my passion. I wanted my children to be surrounded by art, and I wanted them to see art that represented them. I built a collection in my home, started selling art off of my walls. The business of art just kind of evolved. It's a gallery, an art gallery, that represents primarily Lowcountry South Carolina artists, mostly self-taught, but not all. I like to think it's a leading folk art gallery in the Southeast. We paint the Gullah lifestyle, also the Lowcountry scenery. We live in a very beautiful area. Our culture is rich, our environment is beautiful.
Congratulations to this year's Verner Award recipient in the individual category, Mary Inhabitant Mack. Cindy Riddle began teaching art in 1999 for Spartanburg District 1. After serving as fine arts instructional coach, she then became the district's coordinator for visual and performing arts and gifted and talented services, and now serves as the district's assistant superintendent in the same focus area. Cindy is National Board Certified in Early and Middle Childhood Art and has received 6 different awards for her teaching. An artist and entrepreneur, she operates Chicken Coop Art Company in Campobello, where she creates her own art and, no surprise, still gives lessons to students.
Hi, Cindy. We are so excited for your being awarded a 2020 Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Governor's Awards for the Arts in Arts Education. It's quite an appropriate year for you to receive this award, as you are a visionary for arts education. Your service and leadership reaches thousands in South Carolina, Spartanburg County, and the nation. It was amazing to watch how you organized dozens of students to perform on the State House steps this spring for Arts Advocacy Day. They were so excited, and what a memory you made for these children. It is my pleasure to work with you on various committees and boards. Your contributions are always in the best interest of children and their teachers. We have always had a good time strolling down Main Street in Columbia, stopping for a selfie at the State House, and continuing our conversation underground about the arts, your historic home and gardens, and the Chicken Coop studio. We wish you the best as you continue to inspire others, and we thank you for your service and leadership. We love you.
My name is Cindy Broom-Riddle, and I am the Assistant Superintendent of Visual and Performing Arts in Spartanburg School District 1. I was the little girl that may not have known about art unless I had the right teacher. And I'm sharing my story, hopefully that other people can understand the importance of having that teacher that can inspire. And it just takes one student that has an aha moment, and it's worth it. In my classroom, I was innovative in that a rural school socioeconomic status, our students would never have experienced the arts if we didn't bring the world to them. So I found a way to do that with private funding at first, and was able to do a lot of travel, create whole new units, and bring them back and collaborate with my colleagues. It became sort of a school-wide culture. But that led to, well, if we're doing that in this little tiny school, why aren't we doing that in every school, in every discipline? So we started looking into other ways to have grant funding. And grant funding is a wonderful thing. What it does is provide innovative opportunities for those students, and equity and access, and it levels the playing field. My role has changed from classroom to administration, so it's finding ways to keep my teachers excited and empowered, and finding what our students need so that they can be successful. The future of arts education, particularly in South Carolina, is bright because we have individuals that continuously advocate for it, and we believe in it. I'm very happy to be a recipient of the Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Governor's Award for the Arts. It acknowledges my life's work and something that I've always felt very passionately about. But more than that, it's working alongside people that I've long admired. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
This year's Arts in Education category Verner Award recipient, Cindy Riddle. Congratulations, Cindy. Headquartered in Greenville and operating for almost 70 years, United Community Bank abides by the golden rule, do unto others. Chairman and CEO Lynn Harton says that he and his team are committed to maintaining extraordinary culture, creating meaningful relationships, and earning client trust with the goal of improving lives. And it's more than clear that they transform these words into actions. Nominators and advocates pointed to a lengthy and generous record of support of South Carolina arts institutions like Artisphere, the South Carolina Children's Theater, and the Chapman Cultural Center. And this support isn't limited to just funding, but also includes investment of time and services by its associates.
Since UCB first came to the Greenville community, they have been a true partner to SCCT. Not only are they giving of their financial resources, but also of their time. Michelle Seaver has generously served 2 terms as our board chair, and Lisa Shellnut has been seated on our board during one of the most exciting and challenging time in our organization's history as we mounted our capital campaign to build our forever home in Greenville's historic West End. Their belief in and support of the arts drives them to live out the tenets of the Elizabeth O'Neill Verner Award as they consistently maximize their role as an innovator, a supporter, and an advocate of the arts in our community. We offer our congratulations and our thanks to them as they receive this much-deserved honor.
So, art is uniquely human. It's how we express our emotions. It's how we challenge our way of thinking. It's how we tell our stories. And so art helps a great community both celebrate its history and embrace different viewpoints. And so really art just makes a community better.
It is wonderful to celebrate United Community Bank and their 26 years of supporting the arts in South Carolina, the upstate, and right here in Spartanburg.
Communities with a commitment to the arts actually do better economically. And if a community does better economically, we do better, our team does better, and our customers do better. So really that's the fundamental reason we support the arts.
When United Community Bank partners with the arts, they know that we're going to help them to recruit talent, to retain talent, and strengthen the economy in South Carolina. United Community Bank is a model corporate citizen, especially in supporting the arts in South Carolina. Congratulations.
This year's Verner Award recipient in the business category. Congratulations to Lynn Harton and his team. It's one of South Carolina's most iconic spaces. Charleston Gaillard Center provides the Lowcountry and the world With a first-class performance hall, elegant venue space, and vibrant educational opportunities, through a significant public-private partnership, the Gaillard underwent a massive renovation, resulting in top-notch performance and event space that we know today. Over the last 4 years, the center's education and community program has provided arts-enhanced education programs to more than 130 schools, covered many bus transportation costs, and impacted more than 67,000 Tri-County students, all while remaining a 66% barrier-free program.
Greetings and congratulations to the Gaillard Performing Arts Center on receiving this year's Verner Award in the Arts Organization category. The Gaillard Center has long been the virtual heartbeat of arts performance in Charleston and the Lowcountry, providing world-class performance space to the Charleston Symphony Orchestra, Spoleto Festival USA, Ranky Tanky, Charlton Singleton, and the Charleston Jazz Orchestra, and programs by other local and regional groups. From all over the world, groups also come to play at the Gaillard every year, including Dance Theater of Harlem, Alvin Ailey Dance Company, the Venice Baroque Orchestra, opera star Renee Fleming, cellist Yo-Yo Ma and his Silk Road programs, plus his not too long ago concert with the Charleston Symphony when he performed the Dvorak Cello Concerto. The list goes on. A wonderful educational outreach program connected to these very splendid arts events at the Gaillard allows thousands of school children to attend selected performances free of charge every year. Providing access to these stimulating concerts and activities to these kids expands their minds, stimulates their creative instincts, and broadens their horizons. Why? Because the arts bring out their creative gifts, fire up their imaginations, heighten their creative problem solving and critical thinking skills. It is widely believed that children who have access to the arts do better in all of their scholastic work and endeavors. Remember what Albert Einstein was quoted as he was playing the violin. He said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." I offer my heartfelt congratulations to the Gaillard Center's visionary leader, Steve Bedard, his wonderful staff, for this richly deserved high honor. Bravo.
My name is Charlton Singleton. I am a trumpeter and vocalist in the band Ranky Tanky. I can remember when I was in elementary school and we got the opportunity to go and just observe artists on stage, and it was a very eye-opening experience.
Ranky Tanky, now known worldwide, they originated right here in South Carolina. Many of the members attended our public schools locally. We really hold them as a role model to our local kids of what they too can accomplish.
Some of them, it's the first time being in such a beautiful space, such as the Gaillard, and that can be life-changing, whether it's music or dance or theater.
Being able to relate to an artist that was once someone like them, they can really see themselves up on the stage. We take away the obstacles for teachers and we make it barrier-free. What that does is it completely opens the door for schools that have no field trip funding.
The Gaillard has just really done a bang-up job at making sure that those kids get so many great opportunities. And having a space as magnificent as this, it just enhances the whole community experience.
Congratulations to the Verner Award recipient in the Arts Organization category, the Charleston Gaillard Center. Today's final honoree has been a pillar of the South Carolina art scene since coming to Columbia and joining the University of South Carolina faculty in 1969. 5 of his artistic creations are included in the State Art Collection, and others adorn the collections of the Columbia Museum of Art, the McKissick Museum, the Greenville County Museum of Art, the Brooklyn Museum, the Guggenheim, the Smithsonian, and the list goes on and on. He is the only living South Carolina artist to have been featured in the Whitney Biennial in New York, one of the world's most prestigious art shows sponsored by the Whitney Museum. He is Dr. Philip Mullen, the Verner Award recipient for Lifetime Achievement.
Congratulations, Philip, on your Lifetime Achievement Award. You are so deserving. You have helped change the art culture here in South Carolina and far beyond. West Coast, New York City, and around the world. As a former apprentice of yours stated, you have left a legacy of people whose lives have been changed forever because of your impeccable attention to your process and your passion for the journey of art. A colleague stated, "You never lost your sense of wonder." Here's to you, Philip, and for many more years of enhancing our world.
One of the things that has surprised me in looking at painting over my entire career is the consistency of certain core values that I take to it. If you're not failing, you're not trying enough. Well, I often say that I showed up at the wrong place at the wrong time about 300 times in a row, and then suddenly I was in the Whitney Biennial. Through decades of my career, I was an obsessive worker. 10-hour studio days. It's very important if you're making any kind of painting to start fast, but to finish slow. This piece just finished it 2020. Stretched the canvas and started working on that stretched canvas in 1992. But I was making pieces by collaging parts of paintings that had not worked out in the past that were made as long ago as 1976. So this is a 44-year in the making painting. It's not like I plan each of those things in there and how they go, but it's like I build them up. It's like a person builds up a life. There's a richness in it. One of the really nice things about getting nominated for this award was the 10 people who wrote letters. 4 of them were former students. Reading what they said about how it impacted them, blew me away.
Our 2020 Verner Award recipient for Lifetime Achievement, Dr. Philip Mullen. Congratulations.
This is an impressive group. Congratulations to our 2020 Governor's Arts Award recipients. And let's have one more acknowledgement to all 11 of our 2020 South Carolina Arts Awards recipients. Congratulations from us and on behalf of Governor McMaster and the people of South Carolina. Thank you for all of your contributions to the arts and culture in the Palmetto State.
To all of tonight's honorees, thank you for serving your communities and our state so well. We hope this ceremony shows you our appreciation and that you enjoyed your documentaries and the surprise testimonials. But as Leonardo da Vinci said, art is never finished, and we look forward to your continued creations and contributions to the arts community in our state. Ms. McMaster, again, thanks to you and to Governor McMaster for your hospitality this evening and for helping us celebrate these amazing South Carolinians. And to our audience, we appreciate your joining us for this special evening. None of us knows what the future holds, but in one form or another, we will be back next spring to honor another exceptional group of artists and art supporters. Da Vinci was right, art is never finished. So until we are together again, on behalf of First Lady Peggy McMaster and all of us at the South Carolina Arts Commission, thank you and good night.